Boom shakalaka, what is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. And today we have an episode about what is going on with Bitcoin and altcoins right now. They are pumping, everything is green, as you can see behind me. And the big question, is this the beginning? The beginning of the end of the bear market, some people could say. Or the beginning of the mooning of Bitcoin. The beginning of it all. So we're going to take a look at all of that stuff. Potentially, is this the bottom? I know a lot of people don't like when I say, is this the bottom? This is the bottom. Things like that. We'll get into all of that stuff right after a message from our sponsor. Once I could actually hear it. All right, well, anyways, I got to figure this stuff out. I thought I had music. We'll try that again. Boom. Yeah, guys, you can check out the wallet for iOS or Android. And guess what? If you download it using that link down there, you could win $250 in Ethereum. So check out that link down in the description. But anyways, today, big day. Everything is up big. I mean, look at these price spikes going on right now. As we speak, prices are spiking 3%, 5%. There are some cryptos moving up absolutely huge, like Safe up 80%, Centrality 21%, even Ontology up almost 15%. There are a couple cryptocurrencies losing, like Odom and IOST, but really not that many. They're losing a couple percent. Now, the market cap is at $139 billion. Bitcoin dominance, 51.7%, down from 53% last week, but really not that much of a difference there. And if we take a look at Bitcoin, we're looking at this yesterday. I made a video all about this stuff yesterday. And I made this little, these lines. I drew these lines here. Technical analysis going on. Totally professional technical trader. Obviously, not financial advice. Do your own research anyways. But basically, when we have some resistance, like what we see right around $4,000, and we have the bottoms getting higher and higher, guess what? It can flip. And actually what happened is it flipped a lot sooner than predicted. Now, if we can actually get above this $4,000 mark with enough enthusiasm, that $4,000 price is no longer resistance. It turns into what? Yes, support. So potentially, we'll have to see. These are the daily candles. If we take a look at like the 4-hour candles, we can see, boom, big price jump right there. A little bit of a wick up top. We'll see if we can actually find resistance above, or find support above $4,000. Now back on the daily candles, the MACD is still looking great. All those people who do the MACD trading got in around $3,400, now riding up to $4,200. It's a pretty decent trade. As a matter of fact, if you just do MACD trading over 2 years, you 69x your money, and that's not just because 69 is my favorite favorite number. Not just because of that. The RSI, however, is looking quite overbought at the moment, but does that mean anything? I don't exactly know. I think it's been oversold for a F-load a lot of time. Now, today, kind of the picture that you saw on the thumbnail, Magic Poop Cannon, the prognosticator of prognosticators, he says a simple indicator that Bitcoin has bottomed. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about the bottom. I've been talking about the bottom for weeks. Actually, on February 13th, I made a video that said this is proof of the bottom, and I'll go into why later. But, you know, I get all these comments all the time about, oh my goodness, when a YouTuber says it's the bottom, it's definitely not the bottom. It's going to go down a billion more times. And you know what? It could. It could, but there's a lot of indicators why it might be the bottom, because every single person out there is negative. But Magic Poop Cannon uses the monthly candles on a logarithmic scale and just draws some basic trend lines right there. And look, it looks like we're on the bottom of a trend line, so might be heading back up. Now, I've been just looking at market sentiment because I went to a conference last weekend. Everybody's negative. I mean, do you guys remember when Tone Vays made that bet with Doug Polk? And Doug Polk was like, no way it's going below 6,000. And Tone Vays is like, it's going down to 2,000 or 1,500 or whatever he said. And guess what? Everybody was like, no way, not a chance. But then it dropped below $6,000, and all of a sudden, people look at Tonebase as a god. I'm not saying he's not good at what he does, but, you know, traders aren't going to be right all of the time. Or are they? Or are they not? So anyways, ever since then, the complete sentiment of the market has changed 100% from all positive, like, oh, it's going back up, 6,000 is the bottom, whatever, to completely negative. People saying $1,500 is the bottom, 2,000 is the bottom. It's going to be another 2-year-long bear market. It's never going to return, yada, yada, yada. And when you look at market sentiment, guess what? Euphoria, thrill, excitement, that all happened December of 2017, right before the market fell. Okay? Now we have this despondency, depression, panic right before the market takes off. Now, we've had this depression going on for a while, and it seems to be pervasive. Seems to be everybody is, well, it's not coming back. And even these people, when I say, you know, these are things that could potentially mean the market's turning around and the prices start going up, they're like, it doesn't mean anything. Don't listen to you. And obviously don't listen to YouTubers. We just make videos in front of our computer. It's not like we're geniuses or anything. But, you know, whatever. There was this article a couple of weeks ago that I just wanted to go over. This was January 9th. Renato Shirakashi talked about how the Bitcoin bottom is in. Now, he had a few indicators here that show that the Bitcoin bottom could potentially be in. So this first one is the realized value of Bitcoin versus the price. So the realized value is the average value that someone has paid for Bitcoin, and the price is the price. So right now, as you can see here, we're actually below the realized value. So people actually paid more. They've paid roughly about $5,000 for a Bitcoin, and the price is below that, which means that hurts. Most people don't like that. So eventually it comes back. So that's one indicator. If we go down further, the market value to realized value. So there was that realized value we just had before, the market value where you just divide it, and you get a graph like this. Now, as you can see, this graph has peaks and valleys, and markets have cycles, peaks and valleys. Well, this valley that we're in is just about as low as the valley here, but you're saying it's not as low as it, so it needs to go lower. Well, it turns out over time, if you guys can see this here, you know, the more liquidity there is in the market, the more age the market has, the more people are involved in it. Guess what? It's not as volatile as it is before. So we won't have a bottom as low as we had previously. We won't have highs as high as we had previously. It just gets more and more attenuated. Look at me using big words today. Goodness, must have gotten a good night's sleep or something. And then the NVT ratio. So basically the Bitcoin total supply divided by the daily Bitcoin transaction value transmitted through the blockchain. If we take a look at it, it's this green thing here. And these are all just indicators he looked at to say, hey, maybe we're at the bottom. But the last bottom in 2015, guess what? It looked like this. It had 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Is that a fractal? Maybe. But he does make some convincing arguments there. All right. Now, furthermore, this was what I said back on February 13th or something. This was basically convincing to me that we have potentially reached a bottom. Okay. Now, if you guys will remember back with me, long time ago, I think it was like January, probably like January 25th of 2018. Yeah, something like that. CNBC was teaching people how to buy Ripple when Ripple was like $250, some ridiculous price. Okay. Right before the price crashed. Well, guess what? Now, this Invest in Blockchain is teaching people how to short Bitcoin. And this article was done on February 13th, 2019. He's like, this dude made $22 million betting on Bitcoin price fall. Here's how you can do it too. And step by step, how to sign up for BitMEX, because this is where whales make money. Let's sign up for BitMEX. So you can sign up for BitMEX. You can short Bitcoin. And that's just crazy to short Bitcoin when it's already really low. So that for me was just like a big indication that we have potentially reached a bottom, if not the bottom. Now, over the past couple of weeks, a lot of big shorters, people who have made a lot of money shorting, actually closed up their accounts. This was another thing that I wanted to bring up. I mentioned this in the show yesterday. about how Bitcoin price is probably going to be getting up. Because guess what? I made an episode yesterday where Bitcoin was like approaching $4,000. And I said it's going to break through $4,000. And here's why. Well, in this article here, this is a Yale University study that came out July of 2018. It turns out that cryptocurrency prices don't move like other markets. They're very manipulated by the news, but also when Bitcoin price goes up one week, it's likely to go up the next week. So guess what? Bitcoin price shot up last weekend. I said it's very likely to shoot up again this weekend. And what happened today? But there's a lot of stuff in the news that potentially made this happen. Like McAfee is back on his $1 million shtick, as you could call it. He says by December 31st of 2020. Also, Jesse Lund, the VP of blockchain at IBM, also says $1 million. So a lot of people saying, hey, Bitcoin is going to get to $1 million. Definitely. They're even talking about the next bull run already. Okay, is Bitcoin headed for a golden cross? Now, as you can see here, the golden cross is happens when the 200-day crosses the 50-day. The death cross happens when the 50-day crosses below the 200-day. So there was a death cross back in March or April of 2018. And they're saying, hey, are we setting up for 50-day crossing over the 200-day? Is that possibly going to happen? You can see it looks like it's bottoming out, getting a bit even. All right, is it going to uptick and then go over? If we have continued price action on the upward, it certainly could turn around. We could see a golden cross coming up. And then generally, that means that we're going to have a nice bull run coming. But sometimes there are some death cross fakes. So, it'll cross over, cross back, cross over, and then take off. And that'll probably happen again. But I saved for the end, just because I don't want to give it away in the beginning. Got to make you work for it. Got to make you sit through the episode for it. I saved for the end one of the biggest news articles that could potentially be causing the price action we're seeing today. What we're seeing today, 80,000 worth of Bitcoin longs was just bought on Bitcoin futures. Now, guys, one of the largest things that impacted price over the past year and a half was the futures. So when we first heard about futures contracts coming out along with the Bitcoin forks, price started shooting up. All right, price shot up. Then the day that the CMA futures were available, everybody shorted Bitcoin. Everybody, 20,000 dropped it down to 3,000. Okay, now we have lots of people buying Bitcoin longs. That means they're betting on the price to go up. In fact, this is the largest order, the highest volume ever of Bitcoin longs. People think the price is going to go back up, which it likely will. Now that news there gets a lot of people who might be holding Tether, a lot of people who have cash on the sidelines, a lot of people who FOMO in maybe to start buying Bitcoin again. And that could potentially change things around. That could change the whole rhetoric. We have a lot of people talking about how Bitcoin is going to be $1 million. We have, you can tip Bitcoin using Lightning Network on Twitter. We have Bitcoin on the Google keyboard. We have a lot of good news coming out and some institutional investors, some big money getting in, buying a lot of Bitcoin longs. They think the price is going to go up. And it makes sense because the price is pretty freaking low. Pretty freaking low. Considering there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever. That means that if every millionaire in the United States wanted to own a Bitcoin, they couldn't. It's impossible. There's like 35 million millionaires in the United States. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, and 4 million are lost forever. But you know what? All of you critics out there that keep saying, I don't trust when a YouTuber says that it's the bottom. Well, fine. It may not be. I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you my opinion. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they usually stink. Now, this article here I saw, this is another one that gives me faith, even more faith in the case for Bitcoin. So there's a new survey suggests that millennials trust Bitcoin over the stock market. Now, why? Why does this give me faith? Because I grew up, I know I may look old, but I grew up in the time of Facebook. Okay, when I was young, Facebook doesn't exist. It became popular, I think, when I was in college or something like that. And guess what? This was back in the day when only millennials, or only like college-age students, thought that Facebook was something else. Parents didn't use it, grandparents didn't use it, Nobody used it. It was just a way to connect with your friends, to do whatever. Then all of a sudden, parents started getting involved, grandparents started getting involved, your parents wanted to friend you, and then they saw updates of everything you were doing, and then it got pretty weird. And then people just started Snapchatting dick pics to each other. But this is the thing. Technology moves through the younger generations because they grow up with it, they move with it. And this study right here tells me that the young money, the money that's going to be entering the markets in the future, they trust Bitcoin more than they trust traditional finance, which is excellent for all of us who are in Bitcoin right now, because guess what? All that money is going to inflate our bags, just pump them up. So that was a great one there. That's pretty much it for today. I'm going to stick around and answer some questions, actually, just because it's a Saturday. We can hang out, we can chill, we can answer some questions. And other than that, guys, I use Signal Profits. I enjoy it. I get good returns on it. 21% in 22 hours. I mean, there are good trades on here that you can get involved in. 23% in 10 hours. 12% in 2 weeks. 15% in a day. So a lot of good trades. I like it. There is an affiliate link down in the description. Also, check out the Monarch wallet for a chance to win $250,000. No, not $250,000. $250 in Ethereum. So using that link in the description, if you download the wallet, you can get that. So we are in the disbelief phase. Yeah, I think definitely. If we go to there's like what is it? Phases of a market cycle. There's something like that. No. This is it. This Wall Street cheat sheet, psychology of a market cycle. Okay, guess what? We could very well be in this disbelief phase. This is a sucker's rally. It could be. I mean, it may actually be a sucker's rally. This may be a bull trap, maybe total manipulation to get us retail investors to buy back in so the institutional investors can again thrash the market, make a whole bunch of money off of us. Certainly possible. But this could also be the beginning of a bull run. I mean, we've been in a bear market for a year and a half already. For a year. In a month or two. Okay? But can't last forever. Let's see. What happened? No, let's see. What are my thoughts on... no, I won't answer that. Am I doing regular shows again? Yes, I'm trying to get more involved in crypto again. I took some time off. I got bored. I got burnt out. That's why I stopped. Because I was making about a video and a half a day for a year and a half. And then I got burnt out. And so I stopped for a little bit. I got bored. Now I'm going to start making videos again a bit more often. Looks like all the infrastructure built in 2018 and 2019, Bitcoin going for a long ride up over the next decade. Definitely. And during that long ride up, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. But that's how technology works, okay? There's development going on, and then the development overruns the price, and then the price comes up and way surpasses it, and then, again, comes down. That's how it crashes. When I did an interview with Mark Moss from Signal Profits, one of the guys behind this, and he was talking about what happens in trading cycles. And guess what? That's what happens. The price goes up, the price comes down. But what I have found, and again, this is not financial advice, this is my own personal findings from doing this stuff, but it works very well, is that using the MACD on the daily candles tends to work pretty well, because you may not buy in the absolute low, you may not sell at the absolute high, but you follow the market trends pretty well, and it prevents you from losing a lot of money. So I've made whole entire videos about that stuff. If you want, you can just go over to YouTube and you can type in Crypto Love MACD. You could probably even type that into Google, and you could probably find the video. Look at that, MACD trading strategy. I tell you all about it, how to do it, how to everything. So let's see. As we stand right now, I feel we're in the optimism phase already. Maybe. I mean, this has been a week or two of Bitcoin price going up. So, I mean, it definitely needs to last a little bit longer. But this is nice. I mean, we do know that the price where it is actually lower than where it should be. Because there was that article last week that came out about how basically $6,000 was kind of the bottom. It was just because Bitmain and Jihan Wu sold all the Bitcoin, probably market sold it, to cover their losses on their IPO, that caused the market crash back here. So where are we? This right here, this $6,000 to $3,000, that was caused by Bitmain market selling Bitcoin to cover their losses on their IPO. So now we know the price is lower than where it should be. Maybe it'll come back up. Let's see. Have I talked about Bitcoin Hex lately? I did. I did an interview with Richard Hart, and then I made a video called "Is Bitcoin Hex a Scam?" where I talk about it and if I think it's a scam. So yeah, there are those two resources. You can just look at my previous videos. They're right there. I did talk about Bitcoin Hex. What's going to replace Ethereum? I don't exactly know. Ethereum has a huge development community. They have a lot of people behind it. They've been around for a while, but they have some issues dealing with, scalability issues, different stuff like that. There's a lot of good projects out there. We'll kind of have to see. Talk about the best alts that will give XXXXX. There's a whole bunch of alts out there. People love them. People hate them. Everybody has their own alts that, everybody loves the altcoins that made them money, or ones that they're holding on to that they're hoping will make them money. There's a lot of them out there. Personally, this is just my personal preferences after being in cryptocurrency for a couple years, is that I tend to like things that have no pre-mine, have a strong community. What else? I don't know. Actually have some usability. So like some instances, I mean, a lot of the things that I really do like nowadays, like if I was only to pick a few cryptocurrencies, I would say Bitcoin, Monero, Decred, and Ravencoin. If I was to only pick four and just put some money in it and leave it. But you never know, because I still have other cryptocurrencies. Like I still think Neo and Ontology are good projects. I still think Lisk is a good project. I think a lot of these ones in the top 10, they do a great job with their community. They have, one in particular, Tron, does a great job with marketing. And marketing is a big part of being up top in terms of cryptocurrencies. Now, XRP, a lot of people still love that one. And there was actually a really funny, Brecky wrote something on Valentine's Day that said, the clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings and still is not as sensitive as the XRP army. So I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But I mean, they have a very big community, and a lot of people think that's going to be the big thing because they think that, with all the banks, I just don't see how it's actually used in XRapid or anything like that, how they actually use a token. So whatever. But that's my opinion. Like I said, opinions are like assholes. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's also other ones that are smaller ones that people are talking about, like Grin and Beam and all types of these things. But, people love their Hollow Chain. They love, I don't think anybody loves VeChain anymore. Some people love Elastos. I don't really hear, at Nano, people love their Nano. PoonDX. I haven't heard people talking about PoonDX recently, but people did love their PoonDX for a while. For some reason, people still love Electroneum. A lot of people got in on that ICO apparently, and yeah. So those are the ones that I hear about all the time, that people are asking about all the time. EOS. Yeah, EOS could do well if it wasn't a big securities fraud. I mean, it's a $4 billion exit scam by Block One. That's kind of big. We'll kind of see what the SEC does with that. Was the bottom reached? I think it could have been. I think Bitcoin will be delisted from Binance soon? I don't think so. I think that would be kind of odd if they delisted Bitcoin. But, there's talk about for instance, I didn't actually watch the video yet, but I saw that Box Mining did a video about CZ. Is he an angel or a devil? A lot of people are talking about CZ recently. Chico Crypto talks about him all the time. and they demonize him. But he also has built the largest, most trusted exchange out there. Or maybe not the largest exchange, but one of the largest exchanges. Let's see. The second largest exchange. And really by not that much. All right? By $50 million in a day. So, second largest exchange. What does BitTorrent token actually do? You can pay to have your downloads faster. Who the hell would do that? It's like buying a Pornhub subscription. Who the hell would do that? But you can use Verge. What about gas? Gas is a great way to make passive income. And if the prices go back up, could be worthwhile. Guess what? If the market recovers, could be worthwhile to have all that stuff. Yeah, there are only 84 million Litecoin, sure. The market is at the top. FOMO's kicking in. Could be. I mean, it's tough to tell when markets are going up like this. It really is tough to tell if this is going to be the top or if the price is going to keep on going. So the easiest way to not FOMO in is to do dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is where you buy a fixed dollar amount on a regular basis, and that way, when the price is higher, you buy less, and when the price is lower, you buy more. So, dollar cost averaging, very simple way to not FOMO in. You would love a Fibonacci video? Oh my goodness, Tune, you're talking my language. Check this out. Ready? If you type in Crypto Love Fibonacci, there is a whole video right there talking about Fibonacci retracement strategy just for you. Guys, I have a whole playlist on my channel all about trading tips. Okay, different types of trading stuff. So you guys can check all those out who want some trading tips. Lots of positive news in the last week from outside sources, definitely. And we're having a lot more talk about this $1 million Bitcoin again. There were actually 3 articles in my last video I went over about over $1 million Bitcoin. There was the McAfee one, there was the IBM dude one, and then there was some other person who said if you have Bitcoin is the hardest money we ever have, because if you take all fiat and gold, put it into Bitcoin, it would be a $1.5 million Bitcoin. What are my price predictions for Aeon? I don't have any. I think interoperability is very important, but there's a couple different interoperability things out there. Aeon's one of them. BlockNet's another one of them. We'll kind of have to see what they do, because I mean, guys, having all these different blockchains is cute and what all, but it reminds me of back in the day when you had these local, what was it called? Intranet? No. Whatever. You had these you didn't have the internet. You had all these little things all by themselves, basically all these blockchains. When we get them all working together, that's going to be the big thing. Yo, thank you for rocking the Crypto Love t-shirt at work. That is awesome. Guess what, guys? So there is the gay parade in town where I live today. And I was almost going to wear this shirt because they stole rainbows. Or I was going to wear my unicorn costume, which I have sitting here. But, I don't think I'm going to go. How do I feel about Theta? Sounds like a good idea. I mean, I think right now, definitely, if there are projects that you are enthusiastic about that have not gone up in price yet, now would be a good time to get into them, because guess what? If the market keeps going up, they're going to go up in price as well. A-Chain, Nulls, and Lisk are all dead projects. Potentially, a lot of projects are going to die. Anyone here know much about GoChain? GoChain is actually one of the ones supported by the Monarch wallet. So you can actually put GoChain on there. Not sure if you can see that. But yeah, GoChain is actually supported by the Monarch wallet, so you can put that right on there. Let's see. If I had Coil, you'd be tipping me right now. Oh, yeah, I know. I got to set up the Brave browser and all that stuff so you could tip me. You mean you would tip me? Isn't Coil that XRP thing? You would tip me in XRP? I might decline. No, I'm kidding. You know what's funny is that, well, it makes sense. Ripple people love people talking about Ripple. So, if you talk about Ripple, if you do videos about Ripple, how Ripple's awesome, how it's going up to $4. Remember that article was going to $5.86 by the end of 2018? That happened. Well, anyways, when you do stuff like that, Ripple people just tip you in tons of Ripple, and so yeah. Do I hold Cardano? No. Um, and the reason is that I don't know. I think Cardano needs to do more legitimate work. They still don't even have a really good wallet. Okay? And wallet's kind of like the first thing you need in cryptocurrency. You need a wallet. They're still not really having a great wallet. I mean, Charles Hoskinson, he talks great. Smart dude. But they need practical use cases. Thoughts on EOS? EOS has a large community. They have airdrops, which is great. But if and when the SEC starts looking at things about security fraud, EOS is going to be one of the biggest ones they take a look at because potentially that's a $4 billion exit scam. Wow, Jesus Christ. Everybody's watching today, not only because it's a Saturday, but I guess because the prices are going up and they want to know what's going on. What do you think about VeChain? I don't know. I mean, honestly, so you guys know I took some time off, and honestly, like in that time off, I didn't much look at cryptocurrency stuff. I just kind of like took a break, and it was nice. It was refreshing because when you look at cryptocurrencies every day, it's just like oof, overwhelming. So, I mean, a lot of these projects, all hype. If you look at the projects that have actually contributed something, there's not that many. But they have partnerships, they do this, they do that. Hmm. Hmm. I still, let's see. I still like the Bitcoiny projects. I mean, Ethereum has some projects as well. Big. Let's see. What are my top 5 projects? I'll give you 4. I would say Bitcoin, Monero, Decred, and Ravencoin. But I mean, I don't actually know if they're going to turn into anything. I suspect Bitcoin will turn into anything. The rest of them, who knows? But I like Monero because it is private. Now there are some other projects that are working on privacy, and if they do something big, then yeah. Like if Litecoin actually has that privacy stuff, that could be huge. But Monero already has some privacy and some really good privacy with the ring signatures. So I like that for that. Decred I like because it's basically Bitcoin, except it actually has a working consensus mechanism. All right, you can actually vote on stuff. So like with Bitcoin, they have the Bitcoin improvement protocols, the BIPs. But nothing ever happens with them. With Decred, they have consensus that actually works where stuff gets done, and otherwise it's pretty much identical to Bitcoin. And then Ravencoin, pretty much identical to Bitcoin too, except for that, because it is a code fork of Bitcoin, except for that it allows asset-to-asset transfers. We all like that ass-to-ass. And those asset-to-asset transfers could potentially be used with security token offerings, T0, stuff like that. So those are those. What the fuck is Ravencoin? That's what it is. I just told you. Why am I shilling Ravencoin? Because somebody asked me what I like. Gosh, you guys. It's retarded. Like, you can't talk about a crypto anymore with people being like, you're shilling it. Well, somebody just asked me what are my favorite ones. If you want to know my favorite ones, obviously, then that would be shilling it. Whatever. Move from list to Elastos to Ontology to Raven. Yeah, I know. But I still have Bitcoin all this time. That hasn't changed. Still have Ethereum all this time. That hasn't changed. Still don't have Ripple. That hasn't changed. But, yeah, other ones. I mean, Lisk was great up until the rebranding. It was awesome. I was telling everybody to buy Lisk up to like $7 or $8, and then it went to like $30. That was awesome. And Neo was great for a long time. I was telling everybody to buy it when it was Ant shares. And then it went up from like $7 to $150 or $200, something like that. That was great too. All of these are great investments. For long-term hold, it's a lot harder with altcoins. I've talked about this time and time again that holding altcoins is very difficult, and I'll show you why. I will show you why. If you look up maximizing altcoin strategies, there we go. And it's a Cointelegraph article. It'll take you to this graph right here, which is from an article by Willy Woo, who's a very good investor. But basically, he takes a look at Bitcoin versus altcoins in days since launch on a logarithmic scale. This red one is Bitcoin. The rest are altcoins. So when you hold something, when you hodl, the only one that goes up over time is Bitcoin. The rest of the altcoins, I'm not sure if you can see that, but they all go down. That's why hodling altcoins is risky. Trading altcoins is great. That's why I use signal profits, because trading altcoins is great. You can make gains, but hodling them is difficult. And I've talked about this since the very, very beginning. This article was November of 2017, so I've been talking about this since then. All right, nothing new. And people are like, well, but what if you pick this one? Well, guess what that is? Game.com. How many people would have thought that? And probably after that, it went right down like that. So, Willy Woohoo. Yes. Let's see. What happened to Indahash? It kind of poo-pooed a bit. Certainly did. Robert Gilbert. I studied quantum mechanics with a dude named Robert Gilbert. I wonder if you're the same one. He was a genius. That was my senior research. It was this, working on this book here. That was that one. Let's see. That's just a piece of it. Huh. Here it is. Elementary Quantum Mechanics in One Dimension by Robert Gilmore. Are you one and the same? That would be crazy. Let's see. Anything else? How many Bitcoin should you have? Is one enough? I feel like one is enough. I mean, if you want to have more, certainly have more. But I feel like one is enough because guess what? Every millionaire in the United States could not own a Bitcoin if they wanted to. It'll be something along the lines of $1 million because guess what? If Bitcoin goes up to $1 million, then one Satoshi would be like a penny. That kind of works out. And this is actually, check this out. I got a Bitcoin penny right here. It's actually called a Bitcoin penny. If you guys can see that. I don't know. But I got that at some conference. Bitcoin penny. That would be a Satoshi. Boom. Cool. Anything else? You know, Dogecoin's a really good one. Dogecoin is one that like nobody loses money on. Nobody loses money on Dogecoin. How many people do you hear losing money on Dogecoin? They don't. And best part about Dogecoin is it's rather cyclical for trading. Now it's long-term trading, but it is rather cyclical, so you can trade it pretty easily. Look at this. Let's get rid of the USD price, and let's get rid of the market cap. But look at this. It just has very nice. Look at this. Dogecoin would be a good one to probably buy right now. Not financial advice, but as you can see, basically price comes down and eventually price will shoot up one day and you sell it there. Dogecoin, great coin if you want to buy and sell. To hodl for long term? I don't think so. Do I think Superman is a scam artist? No. I mean, I think YouTubers are YouTubers. It's tough. As YouTubers, we have very different incentives or imperatives than as investors. As YouTubers, it is our job to get views. So how do we do that? We make clickbaity videos. I don't know, do shit like that. He's very good at making clickbaity videos. Do I think he intentionally means to deceive people? No. But, I mean, maybe he has. I don't know. I don't know what's in his head. I've only met him once in person. He was nice in person. Every YouTuber I've met has been nice in person. But sometimes they do shit that just makes you wonder why. Like, Chico Crypto is doing right now. A lot of people ask me about him. I don't like what he's doing right now. A lot of people don't, and I don't talk with him right now because of that stuff. But yeah, crazy. So that is pretty much that. For those of you who just stopped in right now and you want to know, is this the beginning? Well, today's market pretty much was, let's see, where was it? Somewhere. Today's price shot up, likely because of what happened here. 80,000 worth of Bitcoin longs were bought on Bitcoin futures, the highest volume ever. So large investors are thinking Bitcoin price will go up. And because of that, the price is going up. Also, McAfee is back at it with his $1 million tweets. So we have a lot of stuff that could potentially mean Bitcoin price is going up. Millennials trust Bitcoin over the stock market. And that is that. Guys, like I said, check out Trading Signals. And then also download the Monarch wallet for a chance to win $250 in Ethereum. Free Ethereum. That's pretty cool. So there's a links down in the description. I will catch you all later. Love you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.